Hi, my name is KCC and welcome to a session under Success Skills for Trainers and Speakers. This session is called 3 Keys to Getting People to Want to Listen to You When You Start. Now, I always tell people this: when you run a training session or a presentation session, the most important part is the opening. If you don't get your opening right, and if you don't get it to that level that you get attraction in terms of people's attention, then you will lose them. And whatever else you do thereafter is no longer important. So here I want to give you 3 keys as to how to make sure that when you start, you want to get people to be ready, willing, and excited to want to listen to you. Now the first point is called questions in their mind. Now when people come to your training or presentation, they always come with some question in their mind. In other words, when they sit down and you are about to start, maybe they will have something in their head. Well, if those questions exist in the head and if that's not answered, they will not be giving you the full attention, they will not be properly engaged with you, and they will lose them very quickly. Now, you think for yourself, when you attended a presentation or a training session, what might be some of the questions in your mind that you have when the trainer or speaker is about to start? Now, some example of this question is, number 1, he would be thinking, what is in it for me? In other words, why am I in this presentation? Why am I listening to this person? What am I going to get out of this training session? What is the benefit I'm going to get out of it? So if that is the question, your first 3 key points that you must address when you start your training or your presentation or your speech is to give people a reason for wanting to be there and give them the benefits of being there. So that point must be communicated across. The other question in their mind is, who are you? Of course you are. If you're utterly famous, then you don't have to indulge in that. But obviously a person sitting down there going to listen to you need to have a bit of background, a bit of understanding of who you are and why must I spend time listening to you. So you need to get that across to people very quickly. And the best way to do that is to have somebody introduce you. Now, not you introduce yourself, somebody introduce you, because that's a lot more credible and that's a lot more authentic in that way. And maybe the third question could be, how long will this take? What are you going to cover? What are the things you address? What will be the content you'll be covering? These are things that you need to take care of from the very start. And at the end of the day, there's one fundamental. And the fundamental is you need to make them feel that you're going to give them what they want. You need to understand what they're looking for. So you need to address it according to the needs and the wants that they have. So even titling your presentation, your seminar, your training is very important because it needs to address those particular requirements or needs or wants that they may have. So my first point is questions in people's mind. My second point is energy and enthusiasm. When you start your presentation or your training, you need to be 20% higher in terms of your energy, enthusiasm, your loudness, your animation, your body language. Everything got to be 20% higher because you're going to attract them. You're going to get them excited. You're going to get them enthused about what you're going to do. If you start off with low energy, you start off without any enthusiasm, your audience will die off very quickly. So you need to be 20% higher. Once you get the energy up, you can go back to yourself. And that's fine. But the opening part, in other words, the first few minutes of your training or presentation has to be high energy and with a lot of enthusiasm. And the last point I want to say to you is engagement. You need to engage them, you need to get them to respond to you from the very, very beginning. Now, you don't want to talk to or speak to or train a group of people sitting down there folding their arms and just listening to you and have no reaction of any kind, and they don't respond to what you ask, what you do. So it's very important to get engagement from the very beginning. Now, some new speakers and trainers have a tendency to try that, and if they don't get any response, they let it be. But I'm suggesting you don't do that. The moment you do that, you are really accepting the fact that it's okay not to respond to me. So you got to get the buy-in, you got to get them a response, you got to engage them. And one of the best ways to engage them is movement of any kind. Answering questions that you may ask, putting up the hands to answer questions. For example, how many of you are here for the first time? Or how many of you have heard me spoke before? These are simple things that you can ask that people will respond and answer. Once you get them doing small things, Then you can get them to respond to you in a much bigger way, such as dialogue, discussion, or activity much later. Now, so the idea here is get them to do some small little things, like even simple things like turn to the person next to you and say hi, things like stand up and say hello to the person next to you. These are small things and movements that you create to get engagement and to get them to respond to you. So this is a quick session, but a very important point. I want to summarize my 3 points to you. Number 1 is understand questions in your mind. So the first part of your opening of your training or your presentation or you're doing a speech is to understand what is in their mind when they come, and your first part must address those questions. My second point is your enthusiasm and energy need to be 20% higher to get people to want to listen to you. And my final point is get engagement, get response from the very, very beginning. You just got through a short session that I just spoke about in terms of success skill for trainers and speakers. Now, I have a lot more ideas, a lot more valuable tips and valuable information that will make a lot of difference for you in your journey to becoming a successful trainer and speaker. So you need to consider coming into my presentation that I'm doing, and for information on my short segment which I'm doing, get down to the information available on this website and register yourself and come and engage with me. I can teach you a lot more from my 30 years experience in training and speaking, things that will be of great value to you. Thank you very much.